This next video focuses on lesson 20A, where we have constant rate of change and average rate of change. So this definition on this first slide says constant rate of change. There will be a straight line that exists between two quantities. So constant rate of change is the gradient or the slope of the straight line. So go ahead and highlight constant rate of change is a straight line between two quantities. The constant rate of change is your gradient. Another word for gradient, and IB is considered the slope of that line. So for example, we have an equation y equals mx plus b, so slope-intercept form. And the equation is y equals 3x plus 5. The gradient is 3. So the gradient or the slope is 3. Next definition is the average rate of change. For an average rate of change, there's going to be a curve in the graph. This is an average rate of change between 2 points. So it's going to be the slope of the chord or the segment. The average rate of change will depend on which 2 points that are chosen. So here's an example. The number of mice in a colony was recorded on a weekly basis. So we have a graph. The x-axis is the number of weeks, and the y-axis is your population of mice. So the first ordered pair on week 0, there was 50 mice. Then 1 week goes by, it looks like it's about 60. 2 weeks go by, it looks like it's about 80 to 90, and you'll continue this. Week 3, a little over 100. Week 4, about 150. Week 5, almost 200. Week 6, almost 250. Week 7, a little over 300. So those are the ordered pairs. And we're going to ask you in part A is to estimate the average rate of increase for the population going from week 3 to week 6. So here's week 3's ordered pair, and here's week 6. We want to find out what is that slope. And then in part II is what is the average rate of change, the slope going from the 7-week period. So from time of 0 up to time of 7. What is that slope there? And then in part B, what is the overall trend in the population for this growth period? So we're going to find those slopes. So let's start off with part AI. We want to find the slope in those 3-week period from week 3 to week 6. So we're going to use the same ordered pairs. This is kind of a little bit of a judgment call. So we'll say that ordered pair is 3 weeks and 110 mice. And then on week 6, we'll say it's about 240 mice. So to find the slope, it's your change in y over your change in x. So we're going to let this be x sub 1 and y sub 1, and this be x sub 2 and y sub 2. And we'll substitute into that formula. So 240 mice minus 110 mice over 6 weeks minus 3 weeks. We simplify it. The numerator, 240 minus 110 is 130 mice over 3 weeks. So that would be as a fraction. You can also reduce that down to, in your calculator, 43.3, which we'd have to then round it to the nearest mice, so 43 mice. So what does that mean? There are 43 mice per week as your slope. That's your rate of increase. All right. I'm going to add a slide here to do part II. And again, we're going to find the slope from week 0 to week 7. So this is going to be time of 0, 50 mice. Time of 7 weeks, 315 mice. That's about. All right, so let's add that page. So part AII, we're going to find the slope from week 0 to week 7. So those points at time of 0, x sub 1 and y sub 1, and 7 weeks later, 7 comma 315, x sub 2 and y sub 2. So we're going to plug it into the same formula, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Substitute those values in. So 315 mice minus 50 mice, that's your change in y, is your mice. Change in x, 7 weeks minus 0 weeks. Simplify the numerator and the denominator. And we get that slope to be about 38 mice per week. That's your rate of change. You're increasing 38 mice per week overall. All right. The last part it said is, what is the overall trend in population growth over this period? So what's happening? All right, so I'm going to add in part B. What's the trend? The graph is increasing. Over the time period by larger and larger amounts. Why is that? The slope in the red over the entire time period was 38 mice per week. But then when we look at the blue one, the blue slope, the slope is now faster. So the rate of change is quickening as you progress in your time, 43 mice per week. So a more faster rate of increase as the time progresses. All right. So continue on, finishing this up. So the population of mice is increasing at an ever increasing rate.